Micah Parsons absolutely airs out his head coach Mike McCarthy, and Ceedee Lamb and Jerry go back and forth over media. The Dallas train wreck continues. The Bears vets reportedly tried to get rookie Caleb Williams benched, and Deebo Samuels chokes out his teammate on the sidelines. We got a lot to get into today. Now, before we get into the topics today, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot in these YouTube streets. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I really appreciate you all for rocking with me. Anyways, let's get back to business. Now, Micah Parsons is receiving a lot of pushback for his comments that he made with the media post-game about his head coach Mike McCarthy. After the embarrassing 31-6 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles at home, reporters asked him about Coach Mike McCarthy's future in Dallas and what he thinks about that, and here's what he had to say.
You know, that's above my pay grade about if Mike is coaching again next year. But, you know, all coaching aside, Mike can leave and go wherever he wants. But the guys I kind of feel bad for is guys like Zach Martin and guys who might be on their last year or on their way out, because that's who I wanted to hold the trophy for. You want to win games and do great things with those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. So
now, when you hear something like this coming from not only any player, but one of your star players, that is not a good sign at all. This is either a sign that you have lost the locker room as a coach or that you are headed on your way out. And maybe this might just be Micah Parsons, but this is seriously throwing your coach under the bus. And there was a lot of people who had an issue with this, namely Rex Ryan, who talked about this as well on his show.
Deserve that. Mike McCarthy, no coach deserves that, because the hours, trust me, my friend, the hours this guy's putting in, no player is putting in the work that a head coach is, I can assure you. And look, you can have some private issue, all right? Go to the owner, go to whoever, go to Mike McCarthy. But why the hell do you think you need to say that why do you need to hurt this man? Who do you think gets blamed for everything? He gets it anyway. And so why are you piling on? All right, yeah, dead man walking. Yeah, he is. But you know what? He's professional as hell. He hadn't once blamed a damn player.
Now, I don't agree with Rex Ryan saying that coaches work harder than any other players as well, too. Listen, man, football is the ultimate team sport. Everybody has to work hard for you guys to be successful. And for people to be comparing who works harder than who, that type of stuff is cancerous for the locker room and, quite frankly, cancerous for a team. Everybody has to work hard. Now, I think Rex took these comments specifically personal for a couple of reasons. One being that obviously he was a head coach himself, so he probably knows how it feels to get thrown under the bus by his players. But the other reason is that he was actually rumored to be one of the coaches looked at to become defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys last year. However, it's reported that Rex Ryan turned the role down because he wanted to be a head coach. So I think both of these things together, him putting himself in Mike McCarthy's shoes, seeing that a player's throwing him under the bus, really gets to somebody like Rex Ryan, who's a very animated person and someone who's kind of a loudmouth as well, to a very strong personality. But on the other hand, I don't think this is a good look for Micah Parsons either. You don't want to be throwing your coach under the bus to the media like this. And especially seeing you dapping up Saquon Barkley after the game, looking all chummy after a huge loss like this at home, it just doesn't look good. And I know Saquon and him are buddies from Penn State. They went to school together. They're very, very close. But overall, the whole look, this and the post interview doesn't look good at all. But Micah Parsons did address this on his podcast later on, and this is what he had to say.
I look at a situation like, Dan, Dan's like an uncle to me, and at the end of the day, Dan can always do what's best for him. I always knew he was a great coach. I never questioned his coaching ability, but, he decided to take on a better job. Who knows at the end of this year, Mike is one of the most winningest coaches in NFL history. And that's the God honest truth. We went 12-5 3 years in a row. That don't happen because Mike's a bad coach, because he's a good coach. And just because one person has trial and error in 1 year, that just doesn't define him.
Now, I personally think it's too late to put this locker room back together. It's clearly divided. It's spilt milk now. Micah Parsons said what he said, and it's out there. And he can say that he wasn't trying to throw his coach under the bus, but those comments, that quote is pretty clear. It's as clear as it gets. Let's be honest. That shit is as clear as it gets. But this is the Dallas Cowboys, so the drama does not end there. Jerry loves to be the center of attention and the biggest spotlight in the media. And him and Ceedee Lamb went back and forth over media over the glaring issue that is a Cowboy stadium and that huge window that lets sun in, with Ceedee Lamb criticizing the sun coming through the window and saying that that was the reason why he dropped the touchdown pass, just because he clearly just couldn't see. The sun was blasting in his face. What was he supposed to do, right? And this is a glaring oversight. How do you build a $1.2 billion stadium and have such a glaring oversight like this, where you don't even at least close the curtains when your team is facing the sunlight? I don't understand how that makes any sense. Anyways, Jerry responded to this as well too. This is what he had to say.
So we do know where the damn sun's going to be in our own stadium.
Why not put the curtains up?
Why not mitigate that?
What?
The sun and Ceedee
Well, let's
dies.
just tear the damn stadium down and build another one. You kidding me?
But it's not, you don't have to go that way.
Everybody's got the same thing. Every team that comes in here has the same issues. They know where the sun's going to be. So every team has the same thing.
So is it more on Mike not understanding where the sun is and not
I'm
calling
not
those?
I'm saying the world knows where the sun is. You get to know that almost a year in advance. So someone asked me about the sun, and what about the sun? Where's the moon?
Of course, in typical Jerry fashion, he just kind of brushes it off. And listen, man, I think it's time for Jerry to hang it up, man. This guy has got to retire or get someone to replace him at some point, because the way Jerry has been running the Dallas Cowboys has just not been beneficial for Cowboys fans, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you are not a Dallas Cowboys fan, you are laughing, because the Dallas Cowboys never fail to entertain, whether they are winning or losing. There's always something funny about the Dallas Cowboys. But if you're a Cowboys fan, man, you really must be going through it right now. And to finish up the Cowboys news for today, Dak Prescott is confirmed to be out for the rest of the season after undergoing a season-ending surgery on his torn hamstring, which makes sense. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys are 3-6. He was originally thought to be out for 3 to 6 weeks, and they were going to review it and see how it goes. But with the season going downhill the way it has right now, it doesn't even make sense for Dak to come back. You might as well just get the season-ending surgery, come back next year stronger, and plan for next year. So yep, that's everything for the Dallas Cowboys. Hopefully they can get their shit together, but with Jerry Jones being the GM, that's most likely not going to happen. Things are not going well for number 1 overall pick Caleb Williams in Chicago. It's reported that some of the veterans on the Bears actively tried to get Caleb Williams benched for his poor performance recently, and they wanted to have him replaced by backup quarterback Tyson Bagent instead. Well, instead of this, the Bears fired their offensive coordinator Shane Waldron just today. And look, I know Caleb Williams has some of the worst body language a quarterback can have, and he's clearly over his offensive coordinator a long time ago, but replacing Caleb with Tyson Bagent is not going to fix the Bears' problems. Caleb Williams is a rookie quarterback who has talent, but he needs to be developed. You're throwing all of these young quarterbacks in year 1 and expecting them to change an organization's entire trajectory and learn NFL speed and NFL defenses on the fly. And that rarely, if ever, works unless your name is Tom Brady. Even legendary quarterbacks like Peyton Manning went 3-13 in their rookie seasons, but learned and developed over time. The only 2 quarterbacks I can think of off the top of my head right now who had amazing rookie performances in their first season were Ben Roethlisberger and Andrew Luck. And that's because they had great organizations and great teams around them. It wasn't just them. Listen, I know that vets don't have a lot of time left in their career. This is football. You can get injured. You can have a season-ending injury tomorrow. Anything can happen. But do you seriously think that Tyson Bagent is going to be the one to get it done, to get you to the Super Bowl? Nonetheless, the playoffs? The only other thing I can think of is that Caleb must have such a trash attitude in the locker room and must be so unliked that some of the guys figure that they might as well go with the guy who at least acts and looks like he cares versus the one who has such a stank attitude. But truthfully, and this is just my opinion, I think the Bears made a big mistake getting rid of Justin Fields. Instead of having a consistent coach to develop him, a consistent philosophy to run the offense through, instead, Fields went through 2 head coaches and 2 different coordinators during his time with the Bears, and it seems like they're on a similar trajectory with Caleb Williams. It's not going to work. Especially with a rookie quarterback, it's not going to work. So I think the Bears as an organization needs to change their philosophy on trying to get these short wins. This guy is not a Mitchell Trubisky. This guy can actually play. He has talent. He just needs to be developed. But if you continue the same way that you did with Fields, you're going to end up with the same result. What's the definition of insanity, right? But I want to know what you guys think about the situation with the Bears vets trying to get Caleb Williams replaced. Do you think Caleb has a future with the Bears, or do you think it's just all bad? I want to hear your thoughts below. And man, oh man, the drama for the 49ers, the ups and downs just don't seem to stop at all. This last Sunday, in a rage of frustration, Deebo Samuels grabbed the neck of long snapper Tabor Pepper and even swiped at Jake Moody after he missed his 3rd straight field goal. Now, this was pretty impressive, the fact that Deebo was able to hit both of them all at once. You ever seen those people just slap 2 people at once, 2 or 3 people? Pretty impressive. But this is kind of indicative of the 49ers season, man. Like, for Deebo Samuel to put his hands on his teammate on the sideline like that is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I've seen teammates argue. I've seen players go back and forth with coordinators, have yelling matches, but I don't think I've ever seen players try to swipe at each other like this, try to grab somebody's neck and choke them out damn near. This is absolutely crazy. The 49ers have already had a pretty crazy season. Right before the season started, you had your rookie wide receiver, Ricky Parshall, getting shot in a robbery attempt in downtown San Francisco. You had Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk holding out for bigger contracts, only for Brandon Ayuk to finally get that contract that he wanted after going back and forth for months and months, hinting that he was going to get traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then finally getting his contract, coming back, and then suffering a torn ACL. Then you had the situation with Christian McCaffrey where he had an injury that nobody even knew about on his ankle and his Achilles heel and had to fly all the way to Germany to get a special procedure done in hopes of coming back for the regular season and being able to make it back in the 49ers uniform. So needless to say, 49ers have been through it. The team has been injured like crazy. George Kittle, Deebo Samuels, multiple players at some point in time during the season have been injured. And to be quite honest, they just don't look very healthy right now, man. Like, the 49ers have went through long playoff runs in about 3 to 4 seasons at this point, and it takes a toll on your body. It takes a toll on your teammates. But I will say that Brock Purdy is staying in there, and he's playing pretty well, pretty decent. For a guy who's only a game manager, he seems to be holding the team together while everybody tries to get back. But if you're Kyle Shanahan, this is the type of shit you don't want to see. You want everybody to be focused, everyone to be back and healthy and ready to go for another Super Bowl run, especially after the way they lost Super Bowl last year. It's going to be extremely tough mentally and physically to try to get back to that point. And all the teams around you in the NFC are only getting better. So Deebo Samuels did downplay the event and said, listen, man, normally I don't get like this, but I was just a bit frustrated in the heat of battle. It was a close game and I kind of got out of character a bit. The long snapper Tabor Pepper had something to say too. He said, listen, man, Jake, the kicker, was having a rough patch out there. I was just standing up for my guy, Jake, which you got to respect, right? But at the end of the day, this is a team and you guys got to win together. There are no hopes for the San Francisco 49ers to continue winning if they continue like this. So they got to check Deebo Samuels and make sure that shit doesn't happen again. But anyways, I want to know what you guys think about this as well too. Sign off in the comments below. And I also want to know, do you guys think that the 49ers have a good chance of making it back to the playoffs and having a deep run again? Do you think they'll make it back to the Super Bowl? Sign off for your comments below. Love to hear what you guys think. Anyways, that's all we got on the docket for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Keep It Football if you liked the video. If you watch all the way through, I really appreciate it. And I'm out.